Two men walk into the same room. One leaves with her full attention, the other barely gets a glance. Same place, same woman, but completely different outcomes. It's not because one is richer or better looking. It's because one asked the right question. Not a cheesy line, not a rehearsed compliment. A question that made her pause, smile, and feel something. You see, real attraction isn't forced. It's invited. And Playboys, those who understand the game, don't chase women. They trigger curiosity. They speak to the mind, not just the body. In this video, I'll reveal 7 powerful questions that stir emotion and spark desire. These are rooted in Stoic psychology, the art of presence, control, and quiet confidence. This isn't manipulation, it's awareness. It's about knowing how to connect without pretending, how to attract without chasing, and how to be remembered without trying. Too hard. If you've ever wondered why some men seem to effortlessly draw women in, the answer isn't luck, it's intentional language. And it starts with the first question. Let's get into it. The first question that Playboys use to create instant emotional pull is this. What's something you've always wanted to do, but never had the chance? At first, it sounds simple, but that's the beauty of it. This question doesn't come across as calculated or flirtatious. It comes off as genuine curiosity. And yet, beneath the surface, it's a psychological trigger that opens the door to something much deeper. When you ask this, you're doing something most people never do. You're giving her permission to dream. You're shifting the conversation away from the surface-level chatter she's used to. Where do you work? Or what kind of music do you like? And instead, guiding her toward desire. Not necessarily desire for you, but for something bigger. And here's where the shift happens. Once her mind enters that space of possibility, you become part of that emotional experience. Psychologically, this taps into what's called anticipatory dopamine. It's the brain's reward system activating in response to a future possibility. In other words, she starts to feel good just by thinking about that long-forgotten dream or adventure. Maybe she'll say she's always wanted to visit Iceland. Maybe she'll talk about learning to dance, starting a business, or writing a book. Whatever it is, that desire lights something up inside her. And guess who lit the match? You. Most people think attraction is about impressing someone with what you have. But true connection is created when you make them feel something about themselves, something exciting, something freeing. This question does exactly that. It shifts her from logic to emotion, from routine to vision. And the best part, you don't need to talk much. You just need to ask and listen. As she speaks, don't interrupt. Don't bring it back to you. Let her explore the idea. Let her paint the picture. Use subtle affirmations like, "That sounds incredible," or "What stopped you from doing it?" These keep her going and allow the emotion to deepen. You're not analyzing her. You're not solving her problems. You're just being present, and that presence is rare. And that brings us to the Stoic angle. According to Stoic philosophy, desire isn't found. It's created through perception. The things we want most aren't always rooted in logic. They grow through how we see them, how we frame them. By asking this question, you're helping her reframe her own story. You're inviting her to see a version of herself that's bold, adventurous, free, and in doing that, you become associated with that elevated state. It's a powerful position to be in. Not manipulative, not forced, just aware. You're not pretending to be anything you're not. You're simply becoming the mirror that reflects the part of her she wishes more people would notice. The best part? This question works in almost any setting. It's soft, non-threatening, and feels refreshing to answer, especially for someone who's used to small talk or surface-level compliments. It breaks the pattern, and pattern interrupts are key in sparking attraction. It makes you memorable. Let's say she answers, I've always wanted to take a solo trip through Europe, just me and a backpack, but life keeps getting in the way. Now, instead of saying something generic like, that's cool, you might respond, what's the first place you'd go? Or what's been stopping you? Again, you're giving her space to reflect, and reflection creates emotional depth. She may never talk about that dream with anyone else. And now you're the one person who made her feel it again. If you're having this conversation in person, the energy will shift. She'll lean in, her eyes will soften, her tone will slow down. Why? Because in a world full of noise, you've given her a quiet moment to feel seen, heard, and inspired. That's incredibly attractive, far more than flashy clothes or clever one-liners. Now here's a bonus move. After she answers, you can share something too. Just a sentence or two. Not to compete, but to subtly relate. For example, I've always wanted to live by the ocean for a year, just to see what it would feel like to wake up to that kind of peace. You're not trying to impress, you're building emotional rapport. You're planting the idea that you're someone who values more than routine, that you value experience, freedom, and curiosity. And for many women, that mindset is magnetic. This kind of question isn't just for dates either. It can be used in texts, voice notes, or even while you're on a casual call. It works because it sparks internal movement. And when someone feels moved, they remember the person who stirred that feeling. So remember this: if you want her to desire you, don't talk at her. Invite her into a new emotional state and make it safe to explore. That's what this question does. It's light enough to be playful, but deep enough to stick. It's respectful, it's real, and it shows that you're not just looking to take her somewhere physically, but mentally. Coming up next, we'll go even deeper with a question that opens the door to emotional intimacy in a way most men are too afraid to try. And once you ask it, the dynamic changes completely. Stay with me. Now that you've sparked her imagination with possibility, it's time to go deeper, to emotionally anchor that excitement to something real. The second question Playboys ask, to trigger deeper desire, is, when do you feel most like yourself? This is the kind of question that makes people pause, not because it's complicated, but because it cuts straight through the noise. You're not asking what she does, what she likes, or what she wants. You're asking who she is beneath the mask. And in a world where most people are performing, pretending, or protecting themselves, that's rare. When you ask this, it signals two things. First, you're not just interested in her appearance or surface-level traits. Second, you're offering her space to be real, that kind of emotional safety. It's magnetic, she might say, when I'm with my best friends laughing about something silly, or when I'm painting alone at night, or maybe when I'm walking outside with no makeup, just breathing. What she's telling you isn't just a moment, it's her truth. And when someone expresses their truth and feels accepted for it, they bond, they feel connected, understood, seen. Now here's where the psychology kicks in. This question activates what psychologists call core identity access. It taps into her sense of self, the person she wants to be when the world isn't watching. And by reflecting on that moment, she unconsciously aligns it with the person who asked the question, you. Let's go deeper. Think about Stoic philosophy. Know thyself was carved into the temple of Apollo in Delphi. The Stoics believed self-knowledge was the foundation of virtue, clarity, and strength. When you ask this question, you're not just making her feel good. You're helping her reflect on her own character. You're encouraging a moment of presence and self-acceptance. Most men are afraid of emotional depth. They think it makes them look weak or too intense. But the truth, emotional intelligence is masculine strength, especially when it's grounded in calm, confident presence. Here's how to respond when she answers. Don't rush it. Let her speak fully, let her explore it, even if she's unsure. After she shares, simply say something like, "That's beautiful." It's rare to hear someone describe themselves that honestly. You're not overanalyzing. You're not turning it into therapy, you're witnessing. And witnessing is one of the most powerful forms of presence. Now, just like the first question, this works best when you give a little of yourself. 2. After she shares her moment, you can say, "For me, I think it's when I'm creating something, like writing or building something from scratch. That's when I lose track of time." This isn't about making the conversation serious. It's about making it real. And real is rare. That's why it's powerful. Let's say this happens on a first date or over coffee. Most guys are nervously trying to impress, dropping facts, flexing success, or trying to steer the conversation. You're creating depth without pressure. That difference is everything. And here's the silent magic. Once she opens up, she'll start feeling more like herself around you. That comfort turns into trust, and trust, combined with desire, becomes chemistry. Now let's tie it back to attraction. Attraction isn't just built on looks or status. It's built on how someone makes you feel about yourself. When you help her feel grounded, free, and safe to be her real self, she starts craving that feeling. And if you are the source of that feeling, she'll want more of you. So remember, this question does 3 powerful things. It builds intimacy. It aligns you with her emotional truth. It separates you from every guy stuck in small talk. You're not selling yourself. You're opening space. And in that space, something real grows. Coming up next, the 3rd question taps into her hidden sense of rebellion. The part of her that wants to break rules, feel wild, and escape the ordinary. When you ask it the right way, it creates a surge of curiosity and playful tension. Keep watching. Now that you've anchored emotional intimacy with honesty and self-awareness, it's time to flip the switch. The 3rd question Playboys use to spark desire is, what's the craziest thing you've ever done on a whim? This question introduces unpredictability. It invites her to recall a story, a rush, a moment where she acted on instinct instead of logic. And here's why it works. Human beings are wired for novelty. We remember bold experiences more vividly. They light up the same part of the brain that responds to danger, pleasure, and desire. When you ask this, you're not asking for a resume. You're inviting her into a shared world of risk and freedom. She may laugh and say, "I once booked a flight to a random city just to clear my head," or "I jumped off a cliff into the ocean in Greece," or even something subtle like, "I kissed a stranger at a party." Each of those responses reveals a hidden part of her, the unpredictable, playful, wild part. And when you smile, lean in and say, "I didn't expect that from you," you're not judging, you're awakening. There's a thrill in revealing our rebellious side to someone who holds it gently. From a psychological standpoint, this question taps into dopamine, plus adrenaline, the neurotransmitters responsible for pleasure, novelty, and risk. You're helping her relive a high, and her brain in turn starts associating you with that rush. But there's more. This question introduces contrast. In Stoic thought, true calm invites chaos. It's the stable mountain that makes the storm thrilling. And as a man rooted in Stoic presence, calm, focused, grounded, your curiosity about her spontaneity brings out something electric. You're not just hearing a story, you're unlocking a memory. You're showing that you appreciate depth and fire, and that to her is irresistible. Now here's how to deepen the connection. Once she shares her story, don't just nod, ask, "What made you do it?" or "How did that feel afterward?" You're inviting her into the emotion behind the act, the why, not just the what. That's where the real story lives. Let her relive the adrenaline. Let her smile and blush. Then when it's your turn, share your own version. It doesn't have to be insane. It just has to be real. One time, I quit a job without a plan and went on a solo trip. I didn't know what I was looking for. I just knew I had to go. That story isn't just about travel, it's about freedom. And freedom, when expressed with calm confidence, is insanely attractive. Now picture this, you've gone from imagination, Question 1, to identity. Question 2, to spontaneity. Question 3. Each layer builds a deeper kind of attraction, not just emotional or physical, but energetic. She doesn't just enjoy talking to you. She starts feeling something around you, and that feeling, that's the seed of desire. Before we move to the next question, understand this. Most guys rush to impress. They want to show how cool they are. You ask the questions that let her feel alive. That's the difference between attention and connection. Coming up, question 4 triggers something deeper. A peek into how she wants to be seen and who she becomes when someone truly pays attention. Stick with me. By now, she's felt excitement, self-awareness, and the thrill of spontaneity. But now it's time to peel back a layer even deeper, to touch something quiet, yet powerful. The 4th question that Playboys use to spark true desire is this. What's something you wish people noticed about you more? Simple, yes. But don't underestimate it. This isn't a surface-level compliment trap. It's a window into how she feels about being seen or not seen by the world around her. Most people move through life feeling invisible in some way. They feel like their strengths are ignored, their softness misunderstood, their intelligence overlooked. And that's where this question becomes a tool of connection. When you ask, what do you wish people noticed about you more? You're telling her, I'm not just here for what you show the world. I want to see what's behind it. She might pause. This one hits differently. She may fidget, smile nervously, or tilt her head, because now you're not asking for her story. You're asking for her longing. She might say, I wish people knew I was funny. Everyone thinks I'm just serious, that I'm actually really loyal. I put my heart into people, that I'm more than just how I look. These aren't just answers. These are wounds wrapped in whispers. She's revealing what matters to her. And that act of revealing is deeply attractive because it requires vulnerability. From a psychological standpoint, this taps into the fundamental human need for validation. We all want to be seen for who we are, not just the mask we wear. And when someone sees us without judgment, our brain rewards us with oxytocin, the bonding chemical. It's the same hormone that strengthens trust between lovers, mothers and children, and long-term partners. In other words, when she shares and you listen, really listen, something clicks, the walls come down. She begins to associate you with emotional safety, not just stimulation. That's the secret source of a Playboy, grounded in Stoic psychology. He doesn't chase, he doesn't rush, he doesn't flatter without meaning. He notices, and he does it from a place of calm power, not neediness. Let's bring in the Stoic layer here. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Stoic men don't crave validation, but they recognize that others do, and when they offer it, it's clean, no strings, no agenda, no manipulation, just presence. When she answers this question, don't try to fix, solve, or correct. Don't rush in with, "Well, I noticed that. That's about you." Instead, you hold space. You can say something like, "That's something worth seeing. I'm glad you shared it." That response isn't over the top. It doesn't scream desperation. It simply honors the truth she just gave you. And again, once she shares, you have a powerful opportunity. Reveal a little of your own experience. You might say, "I get that. For me, I think most people assume I don't care much because I stay calm. But the truth is, I feel everything. I just process it differently." That simple share does two things. It levels the field. You're not her interviewer, you're her equal. It plants the seed of mutual emotional resonance. She sees your depth. This question is perfect for moments of quiet. A walk, a drive, a deep conversation on the couch. It's not a party question. It's a soul question. And because it isn't asked often, it creates a moment she'll remember. Here's something few understand about desire. Desire is not just built on pleasure. It's built on feeling known. Because when someone feels known and safe and valued, desire flows naturally. It's not forced, it's not calculated, it's organic. So the next time you're in a moment where you feel connection beginning to build and the mood is calm and open, drop this question. Not with a smirk, not as a trick, but with sincerity. Because when you ask a woman, what do you wish people noticed about you more? And you actually mean it, you separate yourself from every man she's met who only saw what was obvious. You see what's hidden, and that, more than anything else, is unforgettable. Up next, the fifth question taps into her hidden fantasies, but not in the way you think. It's clean, respectful, and powerful. It pulls her into a story, and you just might be in it. Stay close. Desire isn't always about the future. Sometimes it's about the past. And the fifth question taps into that rich, emotional territory. If you could live one day over again, just to feel it, what day would it be? This question is disarming. It sounds poetic. It doesn't press for information. It invites a moment of storytelling, a walk through memory lane. But underneath the softness of this question lies a sharp psychological edge. When we recall vivid memories, especially emotional ones, the brain doesn't just remember, it relives. Neurologically, memory recall activates the same areas as actual experience. This means when she tells you about the day she'd live again, she's not just describing it, she's feeling it. And if you're present, if you're quiet, if you're locked in, she'll associate that feeling with you. She might tell you about a trip to the beach with her siblings before life got complicated, a childhood birthday party where everything felt magical, a random day with an ex that still lingers unspoken. Now here's where most men go wrong. They get jealous if she mentions another man, but not you, not the Stoic man. You understand that desire isn't about control. It's about understanding, and when she opens up about a deeply emotional moment, even one that involves someone else, she's showing you her soul's emotional blueprint. She's showing you what matters. Is it freedom? Is it safety? Is it love? Is it spontaneity? Once you hear what she cherishes, you'll know what kind of moments she craves. That's gold. Let's talk about the psychology behind it. Nostalgia is a powerful trigger for connection. According to research, nostalgic memories often activate feelings of warmth, closeness, and meaning. When someone shares a nostalgic story, they're not just reminiscing, they're reliving their emotional peak states. And if you're there, truly present, they begin to associate you with that state. That's when emotional desire forms. Not because of your appearance, status, or words, but because you made her feel. This question also opens the door for a powerful follow-up. Why that day? This invites even more depth. It forces her to articulate values she might not even realize she has. It might be, because I felt completely free, because I laughed all day, because I felt like I belonged. You're not just collecting stories. You're reading between the lines, you're learning what gives her life meaning, and once you know that, everything changes. Now let's pull in the Stoic layer. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. To the Stoic, time is the most valuable currency. And when a woman tells you the day she wishes she could relive, she's showing you what she considers worth the time." That's not just insight, that's intimacy. You don't need to say much when she answers. Just be there, nod, breathe with her. Ask a thoughtful follow-up if the moment calls for it, maybe even share your own. For me, it was a rainy Saturday with my grandfather. We didn't do anything special, just sat on the porch drinking tea, but I'd give anything to feel that again. Notice what this does. It anchors the conversation in feeling, not flexing, not seduction, just quiet emotion. And this is where most pickup guys miss the mark. They chase stimulation, but the real connection is in stillness. Here's a secret. A woman remembers how you made her feel in the quiet moments far more than in the loud ones. So when you ask this question, if you could live one day over again just to feel it, what day would it be? You're not just creating conversation, you're creating a moment. You're giving her a chance to touch a memory, relive a joy, and feel safe enough to share it. And when a woman feels emotionally safe, the desire that forms is not fleeting, it's lasting. It's not about you being unforgettable. It's about you making her feel unforgettable, because in the end, that's what Stoic desire is. Not a race for attention, not a chase for control, but a calm, steady presence that awakens something real in her. And when you leave her with that feeling, she won't forget you. Now get ready, because the next question takes things in a whole new direction. It's about spontaneity, challenge, and shared thrill, the kind that creates sparks instantly. Let's go. Now let's move into a question that dives even deeper into the quiet corners of her mind, the places she visits when the world fades out and she's completely alone. The sixth question is simple but profound. What kind of moments do you replay in your head when you're alone? Right there, in that question, you tap into something almost sacred. Think about it. When someone is alone, their mind drifts. Memories play like movies, looping in slow motion, colored by feelings, joy, regret, love, pain, longing. And what she chooses to replay reveals what truly moves her beneath the surface. Is it a moment of triumph, a time she laughed so hard it hurt? A private victory no one else knows about? Or maybe a tender conversation she wishes hadn't ended? This question doesn't just ask for a story. It invites her to invite you into her inner world, her emotional sanctuary. From a psychological standpoint, this question activates powerful emotional anchors. Neuroscience shows that the brain's memory centers, especially the hippocampus and amygdala, link memories tightly with emotional intensity. When she replays a moment in her mind, her brain essentially relives those emotions. That replay triggers dopamine and oxytocin, which deepen feelings of attachment and pleasure. If you're there, engaged, present, and non-judgmental, she will associate those feelings with you. That's where the power of this question lives, in the emotional resonance it creates. Editor's note: this moment is perfect for dreamy, slow-motion visuals. Show sepia-toned clips of a woman alone, looking out a window, lost in thought. Cut to soft flashes of sunrises, gentle rain, or a nostalgic walk down a tree-lined street. These visuals will help your audience feel the memory replay. Now let's talk about the Stoic perspective. Stoicism teaches us that memory is not just a passive recording device, it's the playground of our emotions, a space where we can learn to guide what we replay and how we react. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When a woman shares her internal moments with you, you're not there to manipulate or control her feelings. You're there to witness and hold space for them. Your role is to be a calm observer and gentle guide, not a puppeteer pulling emotional strings. That means when she answers, resist the urge to jump in with judgment, correction, or your own agenda. Instead, offer presence. You might respond softly, "That sounds really meaningful. I can see why you'd hold on to that." Or, "Those kinds of moments stay with us for a reason." Such simple acknowledgements do something powerful. They validate her inner world without trying to change it. Validation is a key driver of human connection. When she feels her memories and feelings are honored, she feels safer and more understood. And safety is the foundation of desire that lasts. Here's another secret. By asking this question, you also learn what moves her emotionally, what makes her heart race or soften. Does she replay moments of adventure, moments of vulnerability, moments of quiet peace? Knowing this helps you tune into her emotional wavelength. For example, if she replays moments of spontaneous fun, you know she craves excitement and unpredictability. If she replays moments of tenderness, she values emotional depth and closeness. This insight allows you to be more than just a casual conversationalist. You become a partner in her emotional journey. You're no longer just a guy asking questions. You're someone who understands her in ways most don't. Remember, this question is best used in moments of calm and intimacy. Maybe during a quiet evening walk or while sharing coffee in a cozy space. Avoid firing it off too quickly or in noisy environments. And don't forget the power of your own story here too. When it feels right, share a moment you replay when you're alone. Maybe it's a time you overcame a challenge or a moment of unexpected kindness you experienced. Sharing your own memory creates a safe container for vulnerability. It balances the energy, showing her you're willing to open up, not just pry the result. A deepening emotional bond that feels natural and effortless. In a world full of distractions and surface-level connections, moments like these stand out. Moments where you tap into what truly matters inside her and inside yourself. That's the essence of real desire. Not the flashy moves or rehearsed lines, but the quiet, genuine presence that makes her feel seen, heard, and valued, even in her most private thoughts. So next time you want to spark desire that runs deep, try this question. What kind of moments do you replay in your head when you're alone? Be ready to listen, really listen, because what happens next isn't just a conversation. It's an invitation into the rich landscape of her inner life. And when you accept that invitation with respect and calm confidence, you don't just trigger desire, you create connection that lasts. Up next, the final question in our list. It's a subtle but powerful way to hint at future possibilities and shared adventures. Stay tuned. The last question in our list is a powerful invitation into her dreams and values, wrapped in the simple frame of designing the perfect day. If you could design the perfect day, what would it look like? On the surface, it sounds like a light-hearted, fun question, but it's much more than that. It's a direct line to her imagination, the space where desire, hope, and personal meaning meet. Why does this question work so well? Psychologically, imagining future experiences activates the brain's reward centers. When she describes her perfect day, she's not just talking. Her mind is creating dopamine-fueled scenarios of joy and fulfillment. You're tapping into a deeply emotional, future-oriented process, one that naturally builds excitement and engagement. From a Stoic perspective, this question offers an opportunity to align desire with what really matters. Stoics teach that true happiness is not found in chasing fleeting pleasures, but in living according to values. When she describes her perfect day, listen for the values underlying her vision. Does she emphasize connection with loved ones, moments of creativity or learning, time in nature, simple peace and solitude? Each detail reveals what she values most deeply and what kind of life brings her meaning. This is more than just a conversation starter. It's a chance to glimpse what makes her tick, what motivates her beyond surface-level wants. Editor's note: this is a perfect spot to show vibrant, uplifting visuals, sunrise over a mountain, friends laughing around a campfire, a quiet morning with coffee by the window, spontaneous dance in the rain. Such imagery helps your audience feel the joy and possibility she's imagining. Here's how to make the most of this question. After she shares her vision, ask thoughtful follow-ups like, what part of that day would make you smile the most? Have you ever had a day like that before? If we could plan a day together like that, what would you want to do first? These questions deepen the emotional engagement by inviting her to relive, compare, and even imagine sharing that experience with you. Notice how this subtly shifts the conversation from me and my desires to us and shared possibility. That's the magic. When you bring her future vision into your conversation, you create space for connection that feels hopeful and expansive, not confined or pressured. Remember, desire isn't just about physical attraction or immediate gratification. It's about imagining a life where both of you can thrive, grow, and enjoy together. And the perfect day question helps build that bridge. Now, a quick word on balance, because while it's tempting to dream big, the Stoics remind us to stay grounded. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." So when you talk about the perfect day, don't get lost in fantasy or unrealistic expectations. Use this question to understand what matters to her now. What small actions or moments bring her joy? You can gently steer the conversation to practical possibilities, maybe a hike, a favorite meal, or a new hobby to try together. That balance between dreaming and grounding is key to building genuine connection. Finally, your own contribution matters. When it feels right, share your version of a perfect day. Maybe it's a morning run by the lake, a book in hand, followed by cooking a simple meal with friends. Sharing your vision signals openness and invites reciprocity. It also lets her see your values in action, which builds trust and attraction. To wrap up this question, remember, you're not just asking for a list of activities. You're unlocking her imagination and values, sparking emotional engagement, and opening a door to shared possibility. When you approach this question with genuine curiosity and calm confidence, you don't just trigger desire, you plant the seeds of a meaningful connection, and that, ultimately, is the heart of Stoic psychology and attraction: presence, respect, understanding, and shared vision. So the next time you want to captivate a woman's interest and build real desire, don't just ask what she likes, ask what she dreams of. Because in those dreams lie the keys to connection that lasts. Now you've got the questions, the tools to spark genuine desire and deeper connection. But remember, the true power lies not just in the questions themselves, but how you ask them. It's about practicing active listening, staying emotionally grounded, and showing calm, confident presence. That's the Stoic edge that sets you apart. When you approach conversations with respect and curiosity, you create a space where desire can naturally grow. No tricks, no games, just authentic connection. So, here's what I want you to do next. Comment below which question you'd dare to ask first. Be bold, be curious, and if you want to unlock the next level of masculine psychology, deeper insights, practical tools, and the mindset that commands respect, subscribe now. Join this journey of growth and mastery. Let's step into the mindset of the greats, like Marcus Aurelius, and walk the path of confident, grounded masculinity. Because desire isn't just about attraction, it's about presence, integrity, and connection that lasts. Thanks for watching.